What you're looking at right here is the new Genesis GV70, and it is, of course, the little baby brother of the GV80, and I think it looks great. And I also think it looks like the perfect successor to the Porsche Macan, and in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly why. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's TheSketchMonkey here. As I said, this is the GV70, the baby brother of the more stately GV80, if you want to call it that. And I like both designs. I think this is a little softer, which is suitable for this segment because it is a smaller SUV than the GV80. But there is just one single line here that is so annoying to me, and it is the shoulder line. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean right here. You see, Genesis right now is focusing a lot on what I've been talking about for a long time. They're focusing a lot on great proportions, which this has, and all the sedans and SUVs in Genesis right now as well. But they also focus a lot on the graphic features of the car, which is the headlights here, for example, and the grille, and you have the rear lights, and you have, of course, the two parallel lines that stretches from the headlights all the way back to the taillights, which is more visible in the GV80 because they have some sort of like middle landing point right here, which I'm going to show you in just a second when I'm going to compare these two. But talking about the shoulder line here on the GV70, what is just a little annoying to me is that this line, it starts in the middle of this so important graphic feature, which is the headlight. It starts in the middle, like you have the same distance here as you have right here, so there is no dynamic movement to this line where it starts, and on top of that, it doesn't really have any place or any connection in the headlight graphically. It just kind of goes here and then crashes hard into the graphic feature, which is the headlight right here. So if you look at the GV80 and compare it to this, you're gonna see that they have a much smoother integration of the same curve. I'm not complaining about the line. I think the line is beautiful, but my job here is to complain about the small details on cars and what really pops out to me the second I lay eyes on a model, because that's what I do. When I see a model, the first second is the most important impression I'm ever, or anybody's ever gonna have of the car. So what pops out in my eyes immediately the first second is what I write down, and then I want to share with you about it. And that was one of these details. And then I'm gonna talk about the rear as well and why I think this is the perfect successor to the Porsche Macan. But we're gonna talk about that in a bit. Now let's talk about the GV80 here. I'm gonna pop that up here in the bottom and show you how this line is integrated here in the GV80. You can see that instead of having it be crashing like this into the headlight right there, we see that it starts right in the kind of inside of the eyes, which is to me, the eyes is of course the headlight right there, and then stretches beautifully all the way back to that point right there. And this is what I talked about, the having a landing point for the graphics. You see you have some other lights here that is missing on the GV70, but what these does is they definitely hammer in the connection between the headlights, the side light, and then the tail light, because we have parallel lines going all around this car right here graphically with the lights. And then another really massive, we can definitely call it massive in this case, graphic features for the Genesis right now. Some say the BMW M3 and M4 have enormous grills, and yes, they do compared to the previous ones. But have a look at this Genesis here. It feels like they haven't really had a look at these models before they talked about the BMW. I mean, look at the size of this thing, but somehow it still works in this model right here. I think Genesis is doing a great job with their branding when it comes to design right now. Not just the grills, not just the graphics, but also I love the wheels right here. They look beautiful. They're very simple. Same thing here. You have these diamond cut spokes in the GV70, which is a new take on how to create wheels that I've never seen before, and it looks pretty cool. But overall, you can see how much softer the GV70 is compared to the GV80. Overall, it has more rounded corners and more rounded edges, and also graphics. You can see there is more dynamics in the headlights here compared to the GV80, which has very horizontal lines and very strict radiuses. You can see in the grille here, this is a lot softer as well. But as I said, I like them both. I think they both fit the segment, and I also like a lot the Porsche Macan. So now let's have a look at the rear of the GV70 here. And this, when I saw this, I thought, wow, this looks, if I blur my vision here, and if I squint my eyes like this looks like a Porsche Macan if I take away the graphic features of the car, which I'm going to do. I'm going to redesign this car and make it into a new version of the Porsche Macan. The reason for that is, first of all, let's have a look at the proportions here. If I were to overlay a Porsche Macan on top of this beautiful GV70 here, you're gonna see that the proportions are pretty much identical. So is the sum of the styling. When I talk about styling here being similar, I'm talking about the big lines. So you have this line right here, which goes down here, the sloping rear end. You have the ducktail up there, the wing or the spoiler down there. And you have the same kind of smoothness in this line right here. Where it differs is that Korea, as you know, they have a lot of fun styling things, although this is not overstyled like a lot of other Korean brands, which is fine because that is their style. That's how Korea does things. I've talked about this before. If I were ever go in and be a designer with a company, I would probably want to go to South Korea because they're having so much fun styling cars compared to Germans, for example. But what I need to do to turn this into a Macan is to remove some of these styling features, because Germans, for example, Porsche in specifically, would never have a line like this right here. They would never put a crease in the body of the car like that. That is so not Porsche, so we're gonna have to remove that, and also remove this hard shoulder here, and of course put Macan lights in the rear here and a Macan rear bumper in the lower part of the car here as well. But when I do that, the reason why I think this would be a great successor to the Porsche Macan is because of one single design element on this car. And I think if you know your Porsche history, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because there's one pillar here that sticks out more than the rest, and that is of course this thing right here. Now, Porsche had a model which was called, I'm sure you know, the Porsche 928, and that had exactly this styling that we have right here on the GV70. I think this is such a good interpretation of what this styling feature, specific detail of the Porsche 928, how that could be turned into or integrated with the Porsche Macan layout. And that's what I saw when I first saw the GV70. I thought Porsche 928, the rest of the GV70 is basically proportionally a Macan, so why not have some fun and see what this would look like as a Porsche Macan. But before we do that, if you don't know what the Porsche 928 is, I'm gonna sketch it out here real quick to show you, talk to you about exactly this design feature that we're then going to add to the Porsche Macan, or turn the Genesis GV70 into a Porsche Macan. But before that, let's have some fun. Let's sketch up a Porsche 928 and now let's talk about the design of that car. Alright guys, so here we have the Porsche 928. A very, very dirty sketch, I know, but this is how I like to sketch things. I don't like to illustrate things. I'm showing you these sketches to maybe inspire you to pick up the pen, sketch down your favorite cars, and don't really worry about messing up, because that's the whole point of it, is just to have fun, not take it too seriously, and the more you sketch, of course, the better you become at it. And if you have a tablet like this, you don't even waste any paper. You can undo as many times as you like. It's a lot of fun. It's very relaxing, and I would encourage you to try it out even if you haven't sketched a car or a thing before. It's very cool to do. Anyway, this is the Porsche 928 right here. What I want to show you here is, of course, the rear end half of the car, and that is this line right there, and more specifically this pillar right about there. So when you look at this car, it's a very unique way of styling a Porsche, and Porsche rarely goes out of their comfort zone when it comes to styling new cars. And that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. It would be so cool for Porsche to take some of these old unique designs, such as this pillar here, and kind of integrate that in their newer models, in some way. It would be fun to see, and it would be a celebration of what they've done in the past with great models such as the 928. And then I saw the GV70, and it looks like a Porsche Macan, first of all, but they've also added this beautiful, cool dip right here, or pillar, that is the 928. So it makes sense to kind of turn this into a Porsche Macan, say 2024 model or something like that. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Quickly redesign this, and then come back and show you the end result and talk about what we did. Alright guys, so here it is. This is my version of what I hope Porsche will do with the next Macan. Obviously, it's not going to happen because underneath this is a GV70, but this is to hammer in a point for you here, or 2 points actually. One point is just how similar cars are today when it comes to proportions of cars, and if you have the basic proportions correct, you can play around a lot with styling and different graphic features of the car, just as I showed you here. This is a GV70 underneath. I didn't change a lot of things. All I did was clean up the side of the car to remove the Korean styling, which the Germans would not be happy about if they were to put that on a German car. We can't have that. Not cool in Germany, but it's cool in South Korea, of course. And then, of course, add some graphic features from the Porsche Macan onto this, while keeping the most important thing from the GV70, which is this pillar right there. And that's what I wanted to show you in this video. A fun experiment. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm the TheSketchMonkey. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.